Mountain Man and His Woman's PHYSIC Vision Powers, Act 3, by Irene Holmes.
Okay, just show us what to do. I am the head leader of this group.
I'm more into stealing, I don't kill.
Okay then, you'll find your way out of the fire pit inside the ground.
The wizard waves his arm and poof, prisoner 2 disappeared.
Now listen up, men. Don't try that again or you will join him.
All the prisoners shook their heads, yes. Wizard waved his wand and arm and magically put a wand in each of the new wizard creature's hand.
You see whale creature in the streams down below? I want you all to kill it and all the fish in the stream.
Prisoner 1, 2, and 4 waved their wands together, and the stream blew up, and a whale creature went flying in the air. Interior, Vernon Mountain Forest, top of the hill. All the creatures arrived at the top of the hill. Bosnia saw whale creatures flying in the air. Bosnia caught the whale creature with his claws. Wizard threw an arrow, and it landed on the side of whale creature. Healing Angel flew by and took out the arrow and tried to heal him. He would not heal. The whale creature grew older, and his body blew up, and water went everywhere.
Wizard, you killed my best friend. Time for wizard war.
Bosnia, I know. I want you to suffer like I did with my family.
I did not kill your family. They got in the way when I was protecting myself from one of your wizard guards that tried to kill me over 25,000 years ago.
Still, it makes no difference. You and your wife and son are going to pay for what you did.
Oh, Dad, you never told me about what the feud was all about.
I know, my son. I'm sorry. I should have mentioned it. I was hoping I did not have to.
But why, Dad? What happened all those years ago?
Your dad killed my guard and my family too!
No, wizard, that is not how it happened.
I don't think it matters how it happened.
Oh, yes it does. You were a baby then.
Your security guard tried to steal your fired sword when you were a baby. He attacked me and killed him with a firebomb, and his family happened to be in the wrong place at the time.
Oh, I see. If you let me have fire sword and raise him my way, my family would still be here.
You were going to take my son and raise him evil. Us creatures are the good ones here.
Yeah, that's the only way of life, to be able to rule the world. I needed your son's powers to grow in me. I want to rule the world with your son by my side.
Yeah, and that is why my wife and I sent him into the future to stop you from ruling the world.
Yeah, good going, Mom and Dad. Now we all understand the whole story.
Come join us, Fire Sword.
No way, wizards. I would never join your evil force.
Then so be it. I will have to force all your powers out of you and bring them to me.
Wizard waved his wand, and the drift of wind came carrying all the creatures towards the wizard. Fire Sword drew his fire sword and swung at it. It landed in the wizard's chest. The wizard pulled the sword out and threw it back. Fire Sword caught his fire sword. The prisoners waved their sword and turned into a dragon. They blew the fire at all the creature. All the creatures waved their arms and blew their magical balls at the prisoner 4 blew. Earth creature opened the earth up while lightning creature opens the sky up with lightning strikes, and prisoner 3 faded atop the ground. Wizard drew prisoner 1 into his body. He felt the power stronger in his veins.
It's time for the sword.
Fire Sword waved both arms into a circle and brought up the protection shield and said a chant. Fire Sword saw red, blue, white, and yellow light all around them. Fire Sword put his hands into the sky and waved his fire sword and his wand together and said a chant. One by one, all the creatures flew inside of Fire Sword's body. Fire Sword could feel the power grow stronger and bigger through his veins. A half hour later, he was a big eagle man. The wizard turns into a flying black dragon. He flaps his wings and blew fire sparks at Fire Sword. The fire sparks bounced off the shield and flew back, and the wizard blew fire at the shield. Shield broke through, and Fire Sword was fully ready for the wizard. The wizard turns himself into a 20-foot giant bat. Fire Sword flapped his wings and flew into the sky, blowing fire and lightning bolts together at the wizard. Wizard caught the fireballs, and few of them got bigger with his fire that came in large. Roar! Fire Sword drew his fire sword and threw it at the wizard. The fire sword hit his chest and bounced off back to Fire Sword. Fire Sword caught the sword. The wizard waved his arms as he said a chant. Wizard turned into a tornado and picks up everything in his path. Fire Sword waved his arms as he said a chant. Fire Sword turns himself into a volcano erupting with fire and light, coming out of the top of the volcano and spreading into the wizard tornado. The tornado blew up and melted away. Wizard picked himself together and waved his wand and sent Firesword flying in the sky. Firesword landed in a pile of muddy water. He looked useless and upset. Firesword wings got wet and cannot fly. Firesword turns himself into a red dragon and blew fire at the wizard. Wizard turned himself into a black dragon and blew fire at Firesword. Both dragons kept on shooting their fire at each other for a while, as they both looked hostile and angry at each other. Wizard turned himself into a serpent and wrapped his tail around the dragon's neck and twisted him into the air and threw him into the tree bush that is sinking into the ground. Firesword turns himself into a yellow flying serpent dragon. He flew around and dove down and blew fire lightning at the wizard and blew the wizard serpent in pieces. Firesword turned himself back to eagle creature and drew his sword. Wizard plant fell to the ground, and Firesword chopped off the wizard serpent's head. Wizard turned back into wizard creature. He drew his wand and sent Firesword flying in the sky. Interior, sky above Vernon Mountain Forest, evening. A plane flying by, and Firesword ran into the airplane. The plane chopped in half and fell to the ground. He flew around and caught 40 people that were on the plane. Interior, Olympic Park, night. Firesword flew down inside the park and landed 40 people on the ground. 40 people waved their arms in the sky at Firesword with smiles and excitement. Firesword flew up, turned around and smiled and waved back as he disappeared.